Hi, Sandy.
Hi, it's Dave.
Hi, it's Kirk.
Welcome to the ADK Rock and Metal Channel. And I don't want. Oh yeah, rock.
I'm not joining in.
Not going to do it. No.
As always.
Can you do the French pronunciation?
No, I don't know either.
And today we're going to do discussion topics through the random discussion generator. Generator. At least I ain't going to do the German one I did last time.
Generator.
Yes, it's my turn to click the button. We'll click the button. I speak very, very fluent.
Do you know when we're talking about subconscious racism?
This is subconscious xenophobia, yeah.
So there's nothing subconscious here at all.
No.
But it's definitely not racist either. Anyway, let's press the discussion generator and see what discussion topic we have today. I went really early on this one.
Oh.
Okay, so today's discussion should be a short one. How far would you personally travel for a gig?
Have we done this?
No, we did. No. Which bands have got the most loyal to travel?
Yeah.
So we did something. We did that for America. Right. So that was mainly driven by the American audience. But I thought this was an interesting one because of demographics and locations. So depending on where you live in the world, you seem to be able to be prepared to travel further for your band. And I was wondering about us. So it's personal. Everyone's got a personal different opinion. So each of us, I guess, we'll throw it to Andy. How far would you be prepared to travel for a gig?
It's hard to say how far I would travel. I could say how far I have travelled.
So that's a good reference point. So how far have you?
I mean, we've talked here about...
Don't include festivals. Festivals don't count.
Right.
Has to be gig.
I've got an example. I mean, we've talked about the local scene and sort of perhaps oversaturation of shows and bands playing sort of too regularly. I think this is a factor for this because I don't go to many sort of established signed band shows, the big shows in London, for example. But what I have done, and I'm giving them a shout out here, I've been friends with the guys from Vicious Nature, who are a Birmingham sort of traditional thrash band who've been up for a number of years since.
What are they called?
Vicious Nature.
Vicious Nature.
I've worn the t-shirt many times at shows and on here, and they're absolutely a great band. Need to do more output. Need to get over this part of the world to play shows. They've been in London recently, but they're Birmingham based, and that's where they generally sort of play their gigs. But they are often invited to a festival in Belgium, and they sort of kick that sort of little journey off by playing in the castle.
Luton.
No, sorry, not the castle. The Carlisle in Hastings.
Hastings, yeah.
Right. So, and I was sort of in a position in life where I wasn't in relationships. So I had the time to sort of do it. Basically, I sort of drove down to Hastings. I've done it twice actually. One time I did stay over, but the first time I saw Vicious Nature in the Carlisle in Hastings, I actually sort of drove from North Hertfordshire or South Cambridgeshire, which is much the same, to Hastings on the south coast of England, which was sort of a 2-hour drive on a decent run there and back. So in mileage terms, I'm not quite sure what the mileage, but it's certainly a 2-hour car journey, which could have been a lot more going around our wonderful capital city. So that's the furthest I've travelled for a gig. Been a bit, sort of similar sort of distances and maybe a bit further afield for sort of weekend festivals and even day festivals where we've sort of gone for the day and stayed. But for an individual gig, that'd be that's my sort of input. But how far I would go, that's probably about the maximum.
Iron Maiden are playing London. Are you going? Again,
probably not anyway, but as an example, yes, I would. That's doable. But I've got no particular reason to see Iron Maiden, to be honest. Even though I am a fan. I don't like going to London particularly. I did go to see Obituary last February. One of the Camden venues. Can't think which one it was, but that was good. But I'm not a big one for public transport or train travel because I do drive. But sort of a 2-hour drive. But it'd have to be a very special show, somebody I don't see very often, or they don't come into my area or our area to play. So that's what I did on this occasion.
Okay. I think for me, probably a 1-hour drive, although there isn't any band that I can think of now A few years ago, probably more, but in my current mental point of view, there isn't anyone that I would probably travel out of the way more than an hour to go and see. Even like my probably favourite bands and stuff, I'd be like, if you're more than an hour away, I'm like, fuck it, I can't be arsed. I can watch your videos, I can still support your music and stuff like that. Standing in the crowd to see you live, I'll watch someone else. Someone's going to film it on their camera phone. I'll watch that sort of thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't.
If you did have that option, would that change the sort of parameters?
Yeah, if you couldn't get it on YouTube the day after, it probably would, wouldn't it? That.
I don't think it would.
See, in the year 2000, we didn't have platforms like YouTube, did we?
See, I got
like you
more...
bought VHS fucking bootlegs, didn't you, of your favourite band live?
See, I got more and more disinterested with live performances as time went on. If I think about my 20s, going to gigs was just huge. I loved going to shows, seeing bands like Cannibal Corpse, somehow.
It was a social thing as well, you said as well. You had a friends group, didn't you?
Everyone came together, we'd go live, we'd get drunk, get in the pits. It was just, you'd pick up merch. Saw everyone from Metallica, Pitch Shifter, Prong, Soilwork,
you saw Death.
You name it, I saw all these bands, and it was great fun. What I found, by the time I started going to festivals, enjoyed the early festival stages, when I got to the last sort of festival, which would have been probably at Donington with Metallica headlining, and I left halfway through Metallica set. I was like, I was watching it going, I've seen this before. Okay, they're playing Master of Puppets. I've seen them play Master of Puppets live, so no real reason to be here anymore. Go home then.
And beat the traffic. Thinking I can beat the traffic.
My brain
That's so
changed.
Dave, that is. Beating the traffic.
Project manager is like, if I go now, I can save an hour and a half to work on this and go home.
Once you've seen that band perform it live, unless you can... I mean, it's weird, I was going to say there's no reason to watch it again, but I've watched films many times over and over and over because it gives me a great feeling.
But you can never beat in any experience the very first, that
once you've seen that first time.
First.
So I don't get that same vibe with watching live bands anymore. It's great when you very first see them, but once you've seen them once, you can never recapture that. And then it all becomes about the social. And you watch that with people that go to these gigs as well, that see these bands regularly live. It's not just about watching that band live, it's about the socialising as well. It's about the catching up with friends and stuff like that. So it is about that opportunity. You're just doing it with a band that you really enjoy. But I'd say probably from here to Cambridge is about an hour's drive. So that would be probably about the furthest. So I would go and watch a band in Cambridge. But I wouldn't go into London from here. It's far too much hard. It's fucking hassle. I have to drive to the train station, get on the tube, worry about the tube, getting there, get the tube back, I'll get back in the car and drive it. I'll get fuck that.
So this feeds into the sort of mental health and anxiety side of things.
For me, definitely.
And for me, like I said, I'd have to have it all planned out. I'd have to know the tube route, last train back, and I'll be thinking, what we get going from here at this gig to catch the last tube?
What if that last tube's cancelled? Maybe I'll get the one before that, just in case.
The thought of spending an evening in a London train station to catch the 5:30 one back home fills me with absolute dread, which is probably a factor as to why I don't go to these London shows, because they are easy to get to. Yeah, the train fares a bit and everything, and it'd be a great experience. But the few times I've done it with friends who've done it regularly and know what they're doing and where to go, and you've always got that backup. But if I was to say, I fancy going to see my dying bride play in London, nobody else is coming, all right, I'll go on my own. It'd be like a military operation. Probably call you in for advice, Do you know what I mean? But I'd be thinking, they're overrunning a bit. Am I going to get that last tube to get that last train home?
I mean,
that's that anxiety that affects the previous topic we've discussed.
I mean, I'll address it like you did. So first of all, as a northerner from Lancashire, growing up, the nearest venue was always going to be in Manchester. I wouldn't travel to Liverpool. It was always going to be Manchester. And I saw Machine Head, for example, Tool, seen some great bands in Manchester. When I moved to the southeast of England in 2013, I could replicate that. I'm in Stevenage, Hertfordshire. King's Cross train station in London is 25 minutes away. So I can get to any gig, and I don't drive at the moment. I've got a driving licence, but when I go to a gig, I like to have a drink, so I'd always be using public transport. O2, Wembley, any of these big venues, very easy for me to get there, so I would do that. Tonight, actually, I'm supposed to be going to Islington to watch Pupil Slicer, and they're playing their album Blossom in full. But Dave, listen to me, I've got too many things to do this evening. I've got to finish editing a video and I need to do 2 reviews. I'm thinking, should I knock it on the head? Bear in mind, Islington is one stop. I just need to go to Finsbury Park and then get on the underground. And apparently the venue is opposite when you come out of the train station.
It is.
And I've still got reservations about going. I love that band. And Blossom was the album of the year in Screen Blast Repeat for 2023. But I'm going to turn it on its head. How far would I travel for a gig? What about if it's a holiday and the main purpose of that holiday is to see a band? I would love to see Depeche Mode in Germany or The Cure in France, because they're massive in Europe and America. It'd be great to see them, one of your favourite bands, in a different audience. So I would do that, but it'd be a holiday. I'd be doing other things while I'm there. But
incorporating a trip to Germany, for example.
And that would be the centrepiece of it. Now, as someone...
But you wouldn't travel that for the holiday. You wouldn't travel there just for the gig.
No, I'd build a holiday around it. Yeah. The other thing is us three, all urbanites. London, Lancashire. You're probably the nearest thing to having a semi-rural existence, which isn't really, is it, in Cambridgeshire?
Yeah.
He's like a farmer over
But can you imagine, imagine asking this question to someone from Cornwall and someone from the Isle of Skye? Does the Isle of Skye person get on a ferry and go and watch the favourite band in Edinburgh? They've got to be diehards to do that. Cornwall, London, or if they're not playing in Exeter, you've got to go to London. The question for them is a lot different from us three.
Yeah,
we're raised in towns and cities where public transport's easy. If you don't live in a city, there's a major metropolis on your doorstep, like Manchester in my case. You're from West London, so you've got everything. I've got everything on my doorstep now.
So used to having little venues and everything.
So we've
for us, it would be Shepherd's Bush Empire or the Hammersmith Apollo would have been the closest to the big venues for us. And that's just Ealing Broadway straight along.
Exactly. And as a northerner, there were a few times I went to London, 9 Inch Nails, 1999, the Fragile Tour. They only played one London show. And I was 16. And 5 of us went, and that was a coming of age moment. You know, northerners in London, we haven't even booked a hotel. We still talk about that now. It was an experience, and it was a buzz. And we probably still would have gone to London if they were playing Manchester, because we just knew at that time, let's go to the capital city. What's it like?
So is it a case that people will travel as far as they need to based on the location they are in the world, I guess, because it's the needs. So Americans will travel much further because although it may sound like a band, Metallica's out on a tour and it sounds like they're hitting all these cities, when you look at it, you go, yeah, but if you're out here in the sticks,
still 200 miles
it's still going to take you 3 hours to drive to it, so you're going to do it.
Yeah.
You have no other option if you want to watch live music. Whereas in us, we're like, but we have live music venues in the town. We don't want to travel to you to watch you play. Can't you book a gig and play at our venue for us, please? So
that's what we say, isn't it?
Book a gig. I've got Bedford the Squires right here. Why can't your bands book a fucking gig at Bedford the Squires to save me the fucking hassle?
Well,
it's a 10-minute drive for me.
It's Kane. We mentioned Kane again. They put out where would you like us to play, and everybody was putting all these venues, and I put Cambridge and Hitchin.
Yeah. Because that's what you want.
Yeah.
We're like, well, we don't want to have to travel too far, but we want you to come. We want to go and watch you, but we don't actually want to travel to go and see you. We want you to come near us.
I mean,
my front room.
Yeah, but, I mean, like take a huge band, Judas Priest. So if they do a UK arena tour, they're going to cover Glasgow and Edinburgh, or one of the two. In the north of England, you're definitely going to get either Manchester or Liverpool. You'll get Newcastle in the northeast, Birmingham, and then you'll have London. You'll definitely have Bristol as well. So wherever you are, you've got a good chance of seeing them within a 1 hour driving distance,
roughly,
or even public transport, being able to get there, if not direct, with a change. So I think it's a lot easier in this country, and it's ridiculous how we take it for granted. And
yet we still say it's too far to travel. In this country, one of the biggest issues is the gigs aren't close enough, and yet we've got
so that's
more
when
closer gigs.
And they'll laugh at you.
I did when I spoke to when I did an interview with one of the bands on the channel, and I asked about rehearsals, and he said, well, basically we can't rehearse too often. We rehearse once a month because of where we all live, it's a 5-hour drive to the rehearsal studio.
And I'm like,
are you fucking... He said, yeah, what we do is we drive there, we rehearse, and I usually stay overnight and drive back through the night. I'm like,
it's insane.
For a rehearsal.
We can't get heads around that in England.
It's just like, why are you even in the band?
So this was central to all the members then,
yeah,
kind of
so
thing?
Because people were so spread out, they do a lot online, and then they get together once a month and rehearse and stay overnight, and make their own way back the next day. And I'm like, Surely couldn't you find people that were closer?
Would you
Well,
think about it in this country? You wouldn't drive 1 hour and a half, would you, to rehearsal? The band I interviewed, Grey Skies Fallen, Rick has moved from New York to Pennsylvania, and he just casually put on the interview, yeah, we only rehearse twice a month because it's a 1.5 hour drive for me. What?
Well, for me,
To an English person,
for me, in rehearsal, it's 40 minutes to get to rehearsal. But
And that's
could you imagine if it was a 5-hour trip? You'd be rehearsing in Edinburgh every other weekend.
Yeah. Pretty
That's
much.
a 10-hour round trip to go to a 3-hour rehearsal. It's insane. Anyway, we'd like to know in the comments down below how far would you be prepared to travel for a gig, and what gig would it be? Let us know in the comments down below. Thank you very much for watching. Goodbye.